Welcome to Creative Energy. And friends, have you seen my earlier videos? If not, then please go and watch the videos. And in this video, we are here with a new short story, an English short story titled A Friend. A boy was walking through a bridge. Looking towards the wave on his right, he smiled. His soul was diving in excitement and ecstasy soaking the atmosphere. The temperature was low and he was returning from his evening school. The sun dried off due to cold and light was playing hide and seek with the mist. He was continuously walking in hope of reaching his destination. There was a jungle in between, which ends up to a graveyard. After the graveyard, there was a wall and then residential homes. People fear going through that way during the night time. He didn't know why they feared so much. He used to see two watchmen sitting there daily. They were old and used to sit in same position. Out of the two, one watchman was for the jungle and one for the graveyard. It's been said that they also come back after 7 p.m. There were two lights in the way through the jungle and one in graveyard. He was walking through the jungle. He left the school with the schoolmates, but he was walking alone. He had no friends, as nobody shares same interest with him. He loves to play and dance, but others like to talk and just talk. He searched for a friend in his school but never got the success. He crossed the jungle and entered the graveyard area. Why nobody wants to play in such an awesome weather? He thought. While going home, he expects a friend or someone will come to him and play with him. But until now, no one has come. Sitting on the bank of the river and looking at the shining sun, he used to pray for a friend to play with. He believed in God and he was sure that he would get such a friend one day. As he was about to cross the graveyard area, he saw a man sitting close to the grave. He stood for a second and again looked at that man. Someone might have died. He might be in deep sorrow, he thought, and crossed the graveyard to enter into his colony. The darkness had finally arrived. After reaching his home, he threw his bag on the bed and asked his mother, "Who sits there in the jungle?" "Why, what happened?" his mother asked. "Nothing. He never moves here and there and sits like a frozen mountain. I always find him glued to the same place. He is a watchman and he should stand and walk around," he said to his mother. "Maybe he was resting during that time and had his round before," his mother said while giving him food. "Yes, this is also possible," he said and started having his dinner. His name was Joy. Joy was crossing the graveyard while he suddenly looked towards his right. He witnessed same person sitting in front of the grave. He tried to go near to him to understand why he is crying, but he was unable to go due to fear. As he was standing and looking at him, he felt a hand on his shoulder. With a shock and fear, he turned and saw a boy in similar school dress. "Are you in my school?" Joy said. "No, you are in my school," he said, laughing. "Okay, what is your name?" Joy asked. "I am Peter," he said while extending his hand for a handshake. "Hello, I am Joy," Joy said. "Nice name," he said, and both started walking towards the school. "I never saw you before," Joy said while walking. "Yes, I joined last week and today is my first day," Peter said. "You are in which class?" Joy asked. "Just next to you," Peter said. "Everyone here is white. Why are you black?" Joy doubted. "I am a foreigner, that's why I am different from others," Peter said. They kept on talking to each other and kept moving towards the school. As they reached the school, they went on to their classrooms. Joy liked Peter as he was the first person who talked with him so much. "I think God has listened to my prayers," he thought while sitting in his class. Joy used to sit alone in his class because he was different. Everyone else used to think that Joy didn't want to be with them, and Joy used to think the same. During the recess time, he went toward the class next to him. He saw so many students but was unable to trace Peter. Suddenly a hand rested on his shoulder, and with a shock he turned back. Were you looking for me? Peter said with a broad smile. You want to kill me or what? Joy said with one hand on his heart. You made my heart beat go crazy in fear. Do you want to kill me? Maybe yes, Peter said with a cunning smile, and then they both went back to their classrooms. After school, they went to canteen and started the chat again. They used to sit in a bench which was at a distance from the classroom and canteen. Where do you live? Joy asked Peter. Have you seen a road which goes left when we enter into the graveyard? Peter said. Yes, that lone road? Joy asked. Yes, after going straight, taking that road, you will reach my home, Peter said. Oh, okay, Joy said. So Joy and Peter became good friends and they used to spend time together. But because Joy used to say, my mother told me to come as soon as possible, they both used to come back before darkness. Don't you fear darkness? Joy asked Peter one day. No, I don't fear darkness, Peter said looking at him. You are brave then. I fear a lot, Joy said. It's okay, it depends on person to person, Peter said. The winters were now at their peak, and because of it, sun ends its duty early. But Peter had no effect of darkness on him. He used to play and let Joy go early. Every day while going back, Joy used to see that person crying, but he never went near to that person. Joy was scared to go inside the jungle, and hence he never thought about road that go toward the left. But now because of Peter, Joy wanted to know about it. He wanted to visit his house and meet his family. Where does that road leads to? Joy asked his mother. Which road, son? His mother asked. The road which goes towards the left, he said to his mother. I don't know. But why are you asking? His mother inquired. I have a friend and he takes that route daily, he said. I don't know, just ask him then, his mother said. I also see an uncle sitting in front of the grave and crying. He does it regularly, he said. Don't disturb him. His loved one might have died. Her mother said and again gave him food to eat. But my friend is black, he suddenly said. He might have come from somewhere else and now staying here. By the way, what's his name? His mother asked. Peter Scam. Oops, I mean spam. Something like that. I only remember Peter, Joy said. Okay, now have your food, his mother said. Whole night Joy was busy thinking about Peter and the road. Tomorrow I will ask him about his family, Joy thought. Next day Joy went to school and was unable to find Peter. Where is Peter? He thought. He started looking around for him but failed. He was very much surprised. He thought that there might be some problem, so he waited for a few days. Then suddenly one day Peter appeared from nowhere. Hey, where you have been? Joy asked. I was in my home, Peter said in sad mood. Is everything alright? Joy asked, looking at Peter's sad mood. My father is not well, he said. Why, what happened to him? Joy asked. He is suffering from fever, Peter said. Where is your mother? Joy asked. She died 8 years ago, Peter said, and the bell rang. Joy went to his class, but he was touched after realizing that his friend lives without mother. For next half, he was thinking about his friend, and as the bell rang, he ran towards Peter's classroom. But Peter was not there. He thought that because of the grief, he might have left early. He sat on the bench where they both used to sit and talk. The sun was about to switch off, and clouds have started juggling with the light. Joy was still thinking about his friend, and he was unaware of the ever continuous time. Soon he broke off the walls of thoughts to realize that it's already late. So Joy started walking back towards his home. Oh my god, I am late, he thought, and literally started running. The sun was erased from the sky by clouds and darkness has emerged. Joy was a little scared. As he crossed the bridge, he saw that jungle watchman. He was still sitting in the same position. Joy looked at him, but he was not moving. Joy went near to him, and as he was about to shake him up, the watchman stood and started laughing. Joy fell down in scare and started running towards his house. He started bleeding from his right thumb, but his fear compelled him to run. After some time he stopped. He wanted to control his breath, but as he stopped, the lone street light suddenly switched off. He was still in the middle of the jungle, and the darkness was at its sheer best. The constant howling of animals was increasing his heartbeat. With lights off, now Joy was scared to hell and was about to cry. The wind suddenly took a harsh note and became wild. Joy's fear was at its peak and he started running. He crossed the jungle and reached the graveyard. The wind was screaming aloud amidst the silence of life. There was complete darkness and Joy didn't have any idea about his path. As he was rushing through the graveyard, he heard a noise. He saw towards his left. He heard someone crying from far away. He could also see the fire. He started moving towards the direction. Maybe our colony people have burned something to identify the way, he thought, and started running towards the direction. That was the same road his friend used to take always, but due to sheer darkness, he wasn't able to realize it. His thumbs were still bleeding. The wind suddenly stopped and the atmosphere became normal. There was no howling, but Joy can still hear the cry. The atmosphere was dead silent. Joy can even hear his footsteps. The darkness was completely blinding Joy's vision, but he was moving towards the direction of fire. Every step he was taking, the voice of cry was increasing. I have heard this voice somewhere, he thought, and in fear he was still walking towards that cry and fire. He kept on running towards the fire and suddenly the fire extinguished. He stopped in sheer disbelief and can sense something horrifying. His heartbeat was uncontrollable, as if it's going to fail. The cry of the boy was now increasing and coming towards Joy. Joy had lost control in himself and he was shivering badly. Joy started running in opposite direction and suddenly struck with something and falls off. He was still shivering and sweating in fear. As he stood, a hand rested on his shoulder. In fear, he turned back to see the face, but there was total darkness. Suddenly, there happened a big lightning, and Joy fainted at the scene. Next day, Joy's mother went to the school looking for her child. She asked every student about him. One of his classmates said, I saw him sitting in the bench there. He used to sit there every day. Yes, he used to sit with his friend, she asked with tears. Friend? No, auntie, he used to sit alone, one boy said. Alone? No, not possible. He used to say that he has a friend, Peter, who studies in adjacent class. She said in disbelief. There is no Peter in our class, auntie, one boy said. And now she was also terrified at this line. She started running towards her house. As she was crossing the jungle, she can see the blood in the way. She was full of tears. And as she was about to cross the graveyard, she saw a man crying. She recollected that her son used to tell her about one uncle crying in front of a grave. I think he might know something, she thought. As she reached near to him and asked him, she looked at the grave. Peter Shan. She was shocked and literally started crying. He was my son. He was in 8th class and studying in the school which was next to the jungle. One day I was very ill and he came back early. I told him that I was not well and I will be back soon. I told him to prepare noodles for himself. I forgot that I left the gas open, and when I returned back there, it was all fire. He completed and started crying. I could hear his last cry, but as I entered inside, everything was over. The incessant tears were flowing from his eyes. She left the place immediately. Next day in school. Dear students, this is our new friend Skeet. She will be now a part of our class, the teacher said. Skeet tried to talk to everyone in the class but found them boring. They don't like to have fun, they are so boring, she used to think. During recess, she went to other class but didn't find any friend. Oh my god, everyone here is so boring. I will change the school, she said. She started walking towards the bench, which was at a distance from the class. She sat on the bench and started having her lunch. Hi, how are you? Her voice surprised her. She looked at the source and saw a boy in school dress was standing close to her. He was having a ball in his hand. Oh, finally, I got someone who can play with me, she thought. I am fine, she said. Do you like to play? He asked. Yes, I love to play and I love to sit on the riverbank so that nobody can disturb me while enjoying the weather, she said. I also love to enjoy weather, he said. Oh, that's great. We will be good friends then, she said, extending her hand for a handshake. Surely. He shook his hand. Myself, Skeet. What's your name? She asked. I am Joy, he answered with a cunning smile. Thank you, friends. If you like this story, please like and comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.